There are some games that you will always remember where you were when they happened. Don't get them off into the regular season, but we got one Friday night. We're talking about it right now.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Dodger fans, this is Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks to our everydayers for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every weekday morning, and thanks to those of you who are with me live here on Sunday evening. Remember, this show is free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube simply by searching for Locked On Dodgers, so please subscribe wherever you're watching or listening right now. If this is your first time with us, my name is Jeff Snyder. My normal co-host is Vince Samperio. It's just me tonight. Vince and I are both lifelong Dodger fans, just like most of you. We've also spent time covering the Dodgers in the press box and the locker room, so we bring you the smart fans' perspective on our boys in blue every weekday morning. The Dodgers salvaged a split with the Diamondbacks this weekend after losing a tough one with their ace on the mound on Thursday. A split is pretty positive development. We're going to dig into everything that happened this weekend, plus some stuff that didn't happen on the field, but off the field with injuries and rehabs and things like that. But I want to start by talking about this. I got to tell you, this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So Friday night, I mentioned at the beginning, this is one of those things where there's games where you just remember where you were. And for me, this was one of those games because I was in a hotel, and that's always when you're away from home. It's kind of funny. I was in Pocatello, Idaho for my son's baseball tournament, and as I was driving in, I looked off to the right in the freeway, and I said, "Oh, I remember when I was here in Pocatello a few years ago. Must have been 2019 because I remember the Dodgers were playing the Braves, and Alex Verdugo hit a triple while I was listening on the radio, pulling up to that hotel." That's how my brain works, and so I know for a fact when I think about Friday night's game, specifically Shohei Ohtani's home run and his home run pose, and maybe giving it back to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. a little bit, I am going to think about the Super 8 motel in Blackfoot, Idaho, because that's where I was. That's where I was watching. My wife and son were watching Stranger Things on their Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Not a sponsor of Locked On Dodgers tonight, but in general. And I was watching the game on my laptop there in the hotel room. And it looked like it was going to be a great game. The Dodgers jumped out to a big lead, and then they blew that lead on another grand slam allowed by Anthony Bonda. Then it looked like the highlight of the game might be Steven Nelson saying my name on TV, because I texted him a little stat about how Bonda is halfway to the major league record for most grand slams allowed by a relief pitcher in a season. And the Dodgers went down 9-8. And then Alex Vance came in and gave it back-to-back home runs, so it's 11-8. And it was just deflating. It was just kind of, they already lost yesterday with Yamamoto on the mound, now going to lose this game too. And then the ninth inning happened, and the Dodgers just said, you know what, we're not going to lose this game. First seven batters of the top of the ninth inning, the Dodgers had 6 runs and a James Outman strikeout, because no inning is complete without a James Outman strikeout these days, unfortunately. But it was when they tied the game up on the Max Muncy single. Muncy had come in as a pinch hitter for Rojas a couple innings earlier and got out, but then he got the game-tying single here. Dodgers ended up with 2 runners on base, and Shohei Ohtani came. Oh, yeah, because then so Outman struck out, and then Michael Conforto got hit by a pitch. And seemed like a gift maybe at the time. I know definitely some of our insiders in our Discord server referred to it as a gift from Kevin Ginkel. I don't know. I am higher on Michael Conforto than a lot of people, especially after we saw him. He actually got a couple of hits on Sunday. We'll dig into that in the second segment. But the Conforto getting hit to put 2 runners on to bring up Shohei Ohtani, DBacks change pitchers, and Steven Nelson said in the post-game conversation, he said, we've used the word inevitable about Ohtani in the past, and it just felt inevitable tonight. And I think Steven would agree with me. Even when things feel inevitable, a lot of things that feel inevitable end up not happening. And we just we don't think about those. We think about the things that do. And so it was inevitable, and then it happened. And, whether it's positive or negative, Shohei Ohtani feels inevitable, and he comes through a lot. And the times he doesn't, we just forget him. And then there's the negatives. I've had people tell me that when Kirby Yates gave up that home run to Adolis Garcia against the Rangers, so it was obvious. He was pitching second day in a row. He's 38 years old, and so obviously he was going to blow that. And I said, well, but was it obvious the other 3 times that he pitched 2 games in a row this year? Because he actually did pretty well those times. We remember the things that stick out in our minds. It's human nature. But Shohei seems to come through on these inevitable things a little bit more often than a lot of people in the positive way. It's, Dave Roberts said about him, said that his clutch ability is unlike anything he's seen. It's just that Shohei Ohtani is an excellent hitter. And we've talked about this a lot, about how Ohtani is the kind of hitter who you just have to watch. You have to be watching the game because you never know what's going to happen when Shohei Ohtani is at the plate, because he's so dynamic. He can change a game on one swing. And it doesn't matter if he looked bad every other at bat that game. He can, which he didn't in this particular case, but in general, it doesn't matter. In this case, it was Ohtani's 3rd hit of the game. He already had 2 doubles, and then he hit this home run. It was a great game for Ohtani, so maybe that did make it feel even more inevitable. But even when he is, having a bad game, one swing, there are very few players who can change a game the way that Ohtani can. And you can count those guys on one hand. And it's just so fun to have him on the Dodgers and to be in that situation. And, the fact is, the Dodgers had already tied the game. They had 2 runners on with only 1 out. And you have Mookie and Freddie coming up behind him. Mookie and Smith, and then Freddie, I guess. So there's a decent chance they were going to take the lead anyway. Although, what actually happened was that Mookie and Smith got out to end the inning after Ohtani's home run. But, if the game was still tied, maybe things go differently. But having your lineup stacked like that, they didn't have the option of pitching around Ohtani, because you did have MVPs following him up. You had great hitters. And so, yeah, maybe Ohtani's the best of the hitters. I don't know. Maybe Freeman is. We'll talk about Freddie Freeman a little bit in the next segment too. But you can't pitch around Ohtani. You got to come at him. And it looked like Ryan Thompson might have had a chance to get him. Yes, Ryan Thompson. He got a pretty bad swing and miss on the first pitch, but Ohtani, you can't make a mistake to him. And it was just so much fun. Like, I love how much Ohtani's personality has come out since he joined the Dodgers. And I know some of that is just me noticing it more, even though I did watch him a lot. I watched more Angel games than I would have preferred to when Ohtani was on the Angels, because I really like Shohei Ohtani. I really like Mike Trout, although Trout didn't play as much the last few years. But it seems different to me. And it might just be that it's more fun to play on a good team. It might be as simple as that. But whatever it is, Shohei Ohtani is one of the most charismatic guys in Major League Baseball now. And so much fun. And even just the pose after the home run, which was very similar to the one that Lourdes Gurriel had done after hitting the grand slam off of Anthony Bonda earlier in the game. That I actually heard. I heard that some Japanese outlets are maybe taking it all the way back to the 2017 World Series, when Lourdes Gurriel's brother was offensive towards Shohei Ohtani's friend Yu Darvish. I don't have any idea if it really goes back. Occam's razor. The simplest answer is usually the right one. It was what the guy did 3 innings earlier or whatever it was. So, but whatever it was fun. And it was, no doubt, home runs are fun to watch. When he hits the ball and immediately knows it's gone and does, like, was he thinking about, if I hit a home run here, I'm going to pose like this? If so, like, how bad is that? Like, confidence that, like, I'm already planning what I'm going to do after I hit this home run. It's like as a broadcaster, you can plan out. I remember talking to Joe Davis with the Absolute Madness game. Remember the game against the Phillies when the Dodgers hit 3 home runs in the 9th inning, 3 in a row to tie the game. And after the 3rd one, Joe Davis said, Absolute madness. Was it 3 homers or was it 4? I think it was 3. Bellinger, Puig, and Justin Turner, I think. Anyway, and Joe Davis said absolute madness. And he didn't plan that ahead, but it did come to him before the 3rd home run. He thought, man, this is absolute madness. And he thought, ooh, that's a nice line. So he kind of had that in his head. So when the next home run was hit, he said it. It's kind of like that, except you're a batter in the batter's box trying to hit this major league pitcher, and you're planning what you're going to do to celebrate when you do hit the home run, and then you hit the home run. Like, there are very few things in baseball as cool as what Shohei Ohtani did on Friday night. And I will always remember sitting in the Super 8 motel in Blackfoot, Idaho, watching it on my laptop. It was kind of fun. I need to go to break, but I'll tell you, I was just giving updates every once in a while. My wife and son would pause Stranger Things, and they would, how's the game going? Oh, Dodgers are up 8-3, and oh, it's 8-4 now. Now it's 8-8, and now the Dodgers lose 9-8. Now it's 10-8. Now it's 11-8. But then the excitement. Ooh, 11-9, 11-10, 11-11, and then I just said 14-11 Dodgers, and from that point they watched the rest of the game. I rewound so they could watch it, and fun times. It's one of those games that the reason I love the regular season is you get these games, you get to remember these moments, and regardless of what happens the rest of the year, this was a fun night Friday night. And now I got to talk about it on Sunday night because we only do weekday episodes. So I'm going to come back in a minute. I'm going to talk about some of the specifics. Freddie Freeman stays ridiculously hot. The whole offense got on board on both Friday and Sunday. Not so much on Saturday. We'll dig in all that. So thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every weekday morning. And please continue to keep it Locked On Dodgers. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Do you ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's so easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. It is your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances, because Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. I think about all the different accounts that I have. I've got credit cards, I've got bank account, I've got a mortgage, I've got car payments, all those different investments, all that stuff. And it's hard to keep track of, really get a big picture of what your money looks like unless you can look at it all in one place. That's what Monarch Money does. It brings it all together for you. It makes it really easy if you have a partner or a spouse who you're tracking money with, sharing accounts with, having some separate accounts, all those things. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever with Monarch Money. You can track shared accounts and personal accounts. You can set goals and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Hey, I'm back. Thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen. Thanks for being an everydayer if you are. If you're not an everydayer, it's easy to become one. You just watch or listen every weekday morning, and then suddenly you're an everydayer. It's pretty cool. You make that easy on yourself, obviously, by subscribing wherever you're watching or listening right now. You can also go beyond the podcast and become a Locked On Dodgers insider by going to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnDodgers. Text direct with us, have one-on-one conversations, get our thoughts before the show, on the weekends, all that stuff, and get access to our exclusive Discord server for Locked On Dodgers insiders. It's a lot of fun talking during the game, in between games, all that stuff. So check that out. And for your second listen, check out Locked On MLB, hosted by our buddy Paul Francis Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully. As you guys may know, if you're an everydayer, Vince is on vacation this week. Not sure if he will be with me at all. The plan had been for us to be together tonight, but his hotel room in Toledo or something has really bad Wi-Fi, so it wasn't going to be a good experience for you, the viewer/listener, and so it's just me, and so we'll be playing it by ear until he gets back in town later this week. But the Dodgers, as I mentioned, after losing the game on Thursday with your ace, Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound, Yamamoto kind of got knocked around a little bit. As I talked about on Thursday night's episode, it wasn't a terrible game for him, but a couple bad pitches that the DBacks capitalized, and the Dodgers couldn't overcome it. And when you have your ace lose a game against a really good team, especially a really good hitting team like the DBacks, to open a 4-game series, it's hard to picture even splitting the series. Definitely, like, it's hard. Definitely don't think you're going to be able to win the next 3 and win the series. But even splitting it, it's like this is an uphill battle. And so the fact that the Dodgers were able to do that, and in exciting fashion on Friday, and then convincing fashion on Sunday. Yes, they lost on Saturday. They got shut out. Corbin Burnes was very good. Corbin Burnes is a very good pitcher. How's that for a hot take? And Corbin Burnes pitched like a very good pitcher. The Dodgers have had some success against Burnes in the past. They did not on Saturday. It's one of those games that makes you think, well, I'm glad there's 162 of those so that any one particular game doesn't matter too much. But also they did what they needed to do on Sunday. They said, okay, well, put Saturday behind us. Let's go win a game. Because Zach Gallen is another really good pitcher. His numbers overall this year don't look great, but that's because he struggled a little bit at the beginning of the year. But as Stephen and Eric mentioned on the broadcast, he has been very good his last couple starts. And so for them to get to him, scored 4 runs off of him in 5 2/3. Like, it's not like they destroyed him, but 4 runs and 5 2/3, when you only allow 1 run in the game, that's called a victory. And the way the Dodgers did it on Sunday was very similar to how they did it on Friday. I mentioned the Dodgers had a big lead on Friday, and then they blew that lead and had to have a comeback. Without that, blown lead by Anthony Bonda, among others, the story of that game would have just been the offense, because the offense was great on Friday. They had 15 hits plus 4 walks, so 19 base runners, 20 base runners, because Michael Conforto got hit by that pitch. And you had 5 guys with multiple hits. Ohtani had 3, Mookie had 2, Freddie had 2, Pages had 2, and Kike had 3. Sunday's formula was very similar. They had 18 hits. They had 2 walks, no hit batters this time. And so, again, 20 base runners. And this time they had 6 guys with multiple hits. You had Ohtani 2 for 5, Betts 3 for 5, Freeman 4 for 4, Smith 2 for 4, Pages 2 for 5, and Conforto 2 for 3. Michael Conforto, first multi-hit game in over a month, first extra base hit in over a month. Just got to feel great for him, because, as I've said, I feel like he has been hitting better lately. I feel like the breakout has been coming, and maybe this was the start of it. Just getting, we saw how relieved he was last week to get a hit. He had a hit and a hard hit out in the same game, and it was like the happiest guy in the world. Now getting 2 hits in one game, the sky is the limit for this dude. But all of that, in this game on Sunday, everybody in the starting lineup except for Max Muncy and James Outman got at least 1 hit. And as I mentioned, 6 of those 7 guys had 2 hits or more. And they drove in runs. You had, obviously, they scored 8 runs, just really spread out among the offense. And I got to talk about Freddie Freeman. I know we just did a whole segment on Freddie Freeman the other day, but as of right at this moment, he is batting .376 with an 1171 OPS. And both of those are second only to Aaron Judge, who is having the best season of his stellar career right now. Freddie Freeman's ridiculous. The fact that he can stand out in this lineup, which does have the reigning MVP Shohei Ohtani, guy who had a historic year last year and is having a better year so far this year in a lot of ways. And definitely better than he was at this point last year. Freeman is standing out. Mookie Betts is back to being, he's starting to look like Mookie Betts again. Will Smith is having a great season. All these guys, and yet it is Freddie Freeman who is standing out. And just, he's the guy who, when the Dodgers had runners on second and third and 1 out in the first inning today, and it's Freddie coming up. Was that right? Was that? I can't. Oh no, it was the later, when the inning that they scored 2 runs in the 5th inning. They had second and third and nobody out, and Freddie coming up. This is beautiful. Like, of course Freddie's going to get this run in, and he did, of course. And that's what Freddie does. Like, he is a guy who, I don't know if there's anybody. Even Will Smith has been excellent with runners in scoring position, great at getting the sac flies. Even him, like, I don't think you would say I'd rather have Will Smith up than Freddie Freeman in that situation, just because Freddie Freeman is such a good hitter, such a ridiculously good hitter. And whether he did unlock something last postseason with the power or not, I don't know. But I mean, he was a triple shy of the cycle in this. He had 2 doubles, a homer, and a single. And one of the doubles very easily could have been a triple. Like that right field corner at Chase Field can be tricky at times. And luckily for Corbin Carroll, it did take a friendly bounce to him. Otherwise, that would have been a triple, and Freeman's single at the end would have completed the cycle. Instead, he will settle for a 4-for-4 with 9 total bases. Not too shabby, Freddie Freeman. Andy Pajes continues to hit well. His OPS is 813, batting 286. Like I said, Conforto finally contributing. Will Smith continuing to contribute. Smith's batting 314 with an 895 OPS, which for a catcher, also threw out Corbin Carroll stealing. Just you put all this together, and it would have been really fun if the Dodgers had also knocked around Corbin Burns and come back and won the series. But you know what? It's so easy to put away that Corbin Burns game when it's surrounded by Friday night's awesome comeback and Sunday's just decisive thumping of the D-backs. Not to mention, Tony Gonsolin, 5 scoreless innings. Tony Gonsolin is so I don't like the word underrated. I'm not going to say underrated because I think underrated doesn't actually mean anything. People usually you say overrated or underrated, and what you mean is overrated means you like something more than I do, and underrated means I like something more than you do. Doesn't mean anything. I do think that Tony Gonsolin is underappreciated because other than when he was pitching injured in 2023, he has been outstanding for his entire major league career. And he is just, today again, he had 4 strikeouts, but, a lot of swing and miss, just pounding the zone, just did an excellent job of keeping the D-backs off the board. And this is a D-backs team that is top 5 in MLB in runs scored. Like, they are a very, very good hitting team, and Tony Gonsolin made them look like they weren't. Can't ask for much more than that, especially when your team scores 8 runs, has 18 hits, and could have been even more because the Dodgers had 2 guys caught stealing, I believe. Smith was caught stealing and Ohtani was caught stealing. Plus they had Hae-Sung Kim thrown out at second, trying to stretch a single into a double. So made 3 outs on the bases and still won decisively. Just great team win. And Freddie is so much fun to watch. Speaking of people who are fun to watch, my favorite ever to watch is a guy named Clayton Edward Kershaw, 37-year-old Clayton Edward Kershaw. He made his final rehab appearance with Oklahoma City on Sunday. It went well, and his next appearance will be for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We're going to talk about him and several other guys who are currently on the injured list and where they might be next. So thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen, and please continue to keep it Locked On Dodgers. This episode is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. If you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. My son, as I mentioned, had a baseball tournament in Idaho this weekend. I had my Wonderful Pistachios, munched on them while I watched him, keeping score. I'm doing Game Changer on my phone, and so I can't have, salty or oily fingers or anything. And so I'm doing the no-shell version so that I can just dump them from the bag into my mouth with my left hand while I'm doing Game Changer with my right hand. Great way to enjoy baseball. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Maybe you prefer pistachios in their shells. Well, they got you covered there too with the in-shell options. Like I said, for me, I don't really like to touch food with my hands, so I go with the no-shells so I can just pour them straight into my mouth. Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein, providing all 9 essential amino acids. These little green wonders pack a protein punch, so whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios is the snack that works as hard as you do. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. I am back. Thank you again for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every weekday morning. Thanks for being an everydayer if you are. If you're not, just watch or listen every weekday morning, and then you are. It's one of the coolest clubs to be in. You can also go beyond the podcast and become a Locked On Dodgers insider by going to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnDodgers. Just going to scan through the comments, the chats here. I know it's hard for me to keep up on that. Mark is already poo-pooing on Clayton Kershaw. I haven't even started talking about Kershaw yet. All I did was hint that I was going to talk about Kershaw, and Mark is already angry about Kershaw. Not angry, that's not the right word, but he'll probably be angry in a second because I am so excited that Clayton Kershaw is coming back. He made his last rehab start with Oklahoma City. It was a shorter one, just went 4 innings. Looked good, gave up a 2-run homer. Other than that, was solid and played some good defense. And with Kershaw, it's really just been about getting him built up. He's been ready to come back for a couple of weeks, but because of the rules of the 60-day injured list, he couldn't come back yet. He can next weekend, so he will. He will most likely start one of those games, probably Sunday, against the Angels at Dodger Stadium. I am so excited to have him back, and it's not because I'm not expecting Kershaw to be the ace, and that's part of why I'm excited to have him back, because throughout Kershaw's career, most of the time he has kind of been expected either by default or by some other reason to be the ace, and for a long time he was, and even as he lost his fastball velocity, he was still ace quality. I am still confident Clayton Kershaw is going to be a very effective major league pitcher. He has been whenever he's been healthy. And kind of like I said about Tony Gonsolin, when he got blown up by the DBacks in the NLDS a couple of years ago, he was pitching. He had shoulder surgery, not because of that game, but because of before that game. So he was pitching while needing shoulder surgery because the Dodgers were out of pitchers. And so, yeah, that game sucked. I was there. It was awful. But that's not Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw is healthy now. I am so excited to watch him pitch. And, with them just needing him to be, hey, just be a solid number 6 starter for us. Give us length. Give us 6 innings, 3 or 4 runs. Boom. We'll get enough runs to win some games that way. That's what the Dodgers need right now. And I think that's what Clayton Kershaw is going to provide for them. And anything else is a bonus. And I think there will be times where we will get that bonus. I think Clayton Kershaw still has in him. Sometimes he's going to go 7 innings and allow 1 run. And we're going to say, oh, vintage Kershaw. And it won't be vintage Kershaw because he won't be throwing 95. But something doesn't have to be vintage to be good. And the new version of Kershaw, or the old version, if we're talking about age, can be very effective. He absolutely knows how to pitch. His slider is still devastating. His curve is still outstanding. He's been playing with a changeup or splitter or whatever. We'll see if that works into the games very often. And if he can locate the fastball, he's going to be just fine. And I am very excited to have Kershaw back, partly for on-field reasons, partly because he's my favorite player of all time, and he plays for my favorite team of all time. And watching him pitch is something I will never take for granted. I appreciate it very much, and I can't wait to see it again. Other rehabbing news. The plan had been for both Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow to begin playing catch this past Friday in Arizona. Tyler Glasnow did. Blake Snell did not, because he is still feeling discomfort in his shoulder. In that same report, when they said that, we found out that he is going to see Dr. Neil Elatrash, the team doctor, a.k.a. the guy you go to when your arm is messed up. And that seemed ominous, except for the fact that this visit was already scheduled. Tyler Glasnow is also going to see Dr. Elatrash. It's just, we've been on the road for the last 10 games. Coming home, let's go see our team doctor. He can check in. Doesn't mean that the fact that Blake Snell's shoulder is still bothering him isn't concerning. It definitely is. But it's not any more concerning because he's going to see Dr. Elatrash, because he was going to see Dr. Elatrash anyway. And so we probably will get some information, or hopefully we will, from that meeting, from that appointment, whatever you want to call it. And maybe we do find out that Snell is out for longer than they had hoped. It's already been longer than they had hoped, and maybe it's going to be a long time still. We just don't know yet. Tyler Glasnow did start playing catch. That's a good sign. Hopefully everything can go smoothly for him, because he's another guy who, when he's healthy, he's good. He just, throughout his career, has never stayed healthy for very long. Obviously, it would be big for this Dodgers team to have him available to pitch well. Michael Kopech, the other one, he followed Clayton Kershaw in this game for Oklahoma City. As we mentioned the other day, Kopech had his first rehab appearance a few days ago. It did not go well. He threw 23 pitches. 20 of them were balls, walked all 5 batters that he faced. All 5 of them came around to score, so his line was really bad. 0 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. Things went much better for him on Sunday. An inning pitch, struck out 2 guys, hit almost 100 miles an hour on the radar gun, threw a bunch of strikes, what we're hoping for. And like I said the other day, when you are a guy who throws as hard as Michael Kopech does, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of mechanics involved, and it wasn't surprising to me that a guy in his first time throwing competitive pitches in 7 months might have trouble getting all those mechanics working correctly. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that it worked so much better in his second rehab appearance. I thought it might take 3 or 4. And maybe there'll still be ups and downs. It's still going to be a roller coaster. Even when he's back pitching in the big leagues, Michael Kopech is sometimes a roller coaster. But I was happy to see him throw a reasonable number of strikes on Sunday. Makes me feel very good about the idea of him coming back, sometime in the next couple of weeks. He'll be eligible next weekend with Kershaw. Probably not coming back right then. They said he's probably going to make about 6 rehab appearances. He's at 2 right now. I doubt they're doing 4 more in the next week, but week and a half maybe. Then we'll probably see Michael Kopech back, which will be, add a good reliever. It bumps out the worst reliever, and they do have a couple options there, guys who may get bumped out. We'll dig into more of that. Maybe even tomorrow. There's no game tomorrow, and so we will have an off-day episode. If you've got questions or topics you want me to cover, it'll probably be just me again. Feel free to shoot them over. Any of the contact info I give you in a minute, we'll dig into those, see what we can do. But that's going to do it for me for today. Good weekend series now. A well-deserved day off before the West Sacramento Athletics come to town on Tuesday, and then a weekend series against the Angels. Should be fun. Hopefully the Dodgers can stretch things out. They're currently a game ahead of the Padres and 3 games ahead of the Giants in the National League West. That'll do it for me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being an everydayer. If you are, if you're not an everydayer, please become one and make that easier on yourself by subscribing wherever you're watching or listening right now. You can also check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. You can find that on the Locked On MLB YouTube channel or wherever you get podcasts. They cover every game, every day, with thoughts from the local experts, like, for example, me and Vince talking about Dodger games. You can also go beyond this podcast and become a Locked On Dodgers insider by going to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnDodgers. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Locked On Dodgers. Vince is on Twitter at VinceSense91. I'm on Twitter at Snydog, and both of our DMs are open there. You can also email us, lockedondodgers@gmail.com, or send us a voicemail or a text message to 323-863-LOCK5625. We are here every weekday morning, and we hope you'll be here with us. When you get in your car or sit on your couch, tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Dodgers. And remember, you don't have to agree. You just have to listen. We'll talk to you tomorrow.